Okay, is that working now? Of all the stupid things to do. Okay, that is working now. That is working now. Great. Okay. Well, that took 3 minutes. Okay, I'm just going to put things up on Discord since now I know what the things are actually working. Rexarius part 4. Right, okay, so what happened is a few days ago I did my first recording without actually using without actually using Audacity, and so I adjusted the sound settings within OBS, and I didn't stop to realise that that would actually change the settings I needed for the streaming as well. So yeah, that's the thing, as it turns out. Anyway, apologies for the very slow start, but we are now good to go. Right, okay, so I've let people know that something's streaming. I think sound balance is okay now. Could probably do turn the mic down a little bit. That should be about right, back to where it was before I meddled with it. Okay. The Rexarius is going to be continued on with the build. So, most of what I'm planning to do this time is like just working on shaping the hull a bit and actually getting more system in place for it to go. This is going to be like a bit of a shorter stream as well, maybe like an hour or so. But we do have a budget concern as well, ever so slightly. Let's bring up the load vehicle. Where is the Corolla's Rex? There it is. 1.338. Right now, this partially built Rexarius is at just over 500,000. So, yeah. Price is a thing that is on the horizon, at the very least. But we can work on that, at least for now. I'm also very carefully watching to see how my computer handles being at max graphics, since that is where we are right now. And if there's any sign of slowdown or anything like that, if the computer's going to be okay, that kind of thing. And this is all, of course, thanks to that oh so lovely big update recently, which has got a bunch of people annoyed and all that jazz. But the multi-threading seems to have made my computer a lot more capable in terms of what it can handle. Wait, didn't I already grab that? Yeah, Rexarius secondaries. Here we go. Yes, I already grabbed that. Okay. This one should be good for that turret. It is, because they're all unified. I'm just double checking to make sure before I get started in properly installing stuff, because I do want to get some more turrets loaded into place. Let's be honest. But at the same time, I don't want to like. I've got to be careful with it as well, because each of these armored silos adds significantly to the costs of this thing. So that's what I'm wondering right now. How much more should I really put into this? Having all these extra turrets on the back doesn't really help much either. And there's also something I should mention, which is the fact that I've got a couple of deck gun test cannons also here now. Hello Existence 42, welcome to the stream. Can you ask where the Rexarius name comes from? It comes from the fact that this is based to be an equivalent craft to the Corollas Rex, Damodoc's big ship. Well, not his biggest apparently, but one of his big ones. Similar weight class. Didn't want to call it like the Anti-Rex or anything like that because, well, it's not meant to be a hard counter to the Rexarius. It's meant to be like an equivalent tonnage craft, and that's about it. So I just took that and ran with it, basically. Let's actually fill in this bit here. So the Rexarius is just like taking Rex and then meddling with it a little bit, and there you go. Similar enough for purposes, but not massively so. Enough for it to be distinct by itself. At least that's what I think I did with it anyway. If it is distinct enough, that remains to be seen. Let's see, I think I want to add in... Let's install a couple of the AA guns now, actually. If we're going to do the AA guns, what did I set this one up to do? This one is set to shield projector type. Oh yeah, to turn off all the shields. Okay. I remember that, but we can install one of those again if we need it. But right now, what I want is to actually start, I think, finish the superstructure a little bit more. It's a bit too steep for the craft's purposes. Got to keep it on the shallow side. Hello Dan, welcome to the stream. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I know the stream's a little bit later than usual as well, but unfortunately I was actually watching Damodoc's stream as well. And then I realised if I didn't, when his ended, if I didn't start streaming immediately, then I wouldn't actually get a stream out today, so it's like, you need to go and do something. That kind of thing. Oh, no, that's the wrong block. But now I want to actually install a... Well, it can't be a big ship without a bridge, can it? There is no such thing as a big ship without a bridge. So at the very least, I think I'll install a bridge section up here. Glass blocks. Note that we're not actually going to be sitting up here at all, because that would be kind of silly. So it's just like an area that is clearly a bridge style place, but not intended for functional use. Is 2 blocks too big? Maybe. Let's have a quick look-see. I guess decoy section is probably the best way to describe this bit. If you're on the bridge, congratulations, you're on the decoy bit. Though I'm sure that's not very good on the resume as well. Let's see. Is he another YouTuber? Damodoc? Yes, he is. And yes, he does some From the Depths content. He was actually literally streaming like half an hour ago. He just finished streaming. Though he had a few issues with the with his save breaking. He was doing some Ashes of the Empire stuff. So he's not too happy about that. And here's hoping he can actually fix it. But yeah, that's why I've mentioned him a few times before in passing. Including like as inspiration for this particular build. Since if he hadn't started streaming and done that, then I probably wouldn't actually be working on the Rexarius at this time. Or I probably wouldn't have even started on the Rexarius at all, come to that. So yeah. It's thanks to him and this Corollas Rex that the Rexarius exists, basically. Yeah, he doesn't actually do YouTube like video content, but he does stream. Like he tries to stream a couple of times a week right now. Any Form of This is awesome. Learned the game from Lathrix a few years ago. Oh yeah, I remember watching Lathrix. Actually, I don't remember the last time I watched that Lathrix. Now that I'm thinking about it, and that makes me slightly concerned. I should find him and have a look at some more stuff again. Just because reasons. Yeah. I wonder what he's doing up to these days. He always had some odd little games on there, like I liked watching his adventure exploration games like Limbo and stuff like that when he did them. Of course, admittedly, that kind of game, it spoils it if you watch someone doing it, but hey. It's not games I can really get for myself, so yeah, I was just fine with that. Oh, he does a lot of Stellaris at the moment that you're not interested in. Yeah, that's fair enough, that. I mean, everyone has their own kind of games that they're more into. Like, I never really did much with Stellaris Bio content, honestly. Well, I say that, and then I remember I tried to do a series on it a bunch of different times. Oh, my memory is great. Oh, that'll do as a nice little bridge type area, I think. Yeah. Very obviously there's something special up there. If it's something that is worth shooting at, remains up for debate, but there's not actually going to be anything particularly important up there. Because I know for a fact if there was, someone would just put a shell through it, and then it would be gone. Let's have a look at this one a bit more. Yeah, you can see there's a bit of something up there, can't you? Lathrix burned out on FT quite some time ago. He's doing Terratech's Stellaris content when you last looked him up. Oh yeah. Does he still go back to Robocraft? He seems to like have a love-hate relationship to that game. Last I saw him on it, I was watching that on him for a while. Okay, here we go. This is the first turret I'm going to work on. The the Quad 348 AA cannon, which is going to sit right over here. Or more specifically, two of them are. I'm like that with Terratech as well, actually. I go to it a couple of times and then I come back. It's like, I don't know, it's like it doesn't really hold my interest that well. At least not enough to do any content on it. Which again, I've tried several times, but I don't know. Something about it. It's good to chill out on, but then I don't feel like I make actual good videos or anything with it. It's a bit hard to explain, honestly. Put this like... I think there's far enough back here. About there. That's one of the anti-aircraft guns on. How much use it'll be remains to be seen. And then I think the second one will just be sitting like not much further back, just around here will be good. One, 1, 2, 1, 1, 2. 1? Oh, that's perfect actually. So yeah, about there. Like the complexity of FTD. Yeah, I was literally talking with someone on my Discord about that earlier when I was just like passing by and they were asking about some stuff. And that's one of the things I love about the game, just how people can build so differently. Every person who tries to build in From the Depths, it just you don't get the same stuff unless you're deliberately copying something. Not at all. And that is the mark of something decent, I think. And I just need to put silos on this thing. Right. Let's siloize these things. Heavy armor. They're not going to have that much protection, but I don't want them blowing up on a whim either. something like that. That'll do. Okay. So these guys are the same thickness as those bigger turrets down there, so it should be a case of square cornering it, and then just bringing it in one layer on the corner. And then that'll be the perfect silo size for it. Of course I'm going to have to adjust the outer layer of arming out a little bit, if I'm going to go heavy armor all around it. Might be a waste of heavy armor this, but these are going to be the only flak guns on the ship, so don't want them being easily sniped out. Not if I can give them at least a little bit of protection. At least that's the theory behind this really expensive bit of additional work. Oh dear. Right, how can I blend this in? Oh, sorry, Existence 42, I didn't spot your question. Is optimization of Terratech still bad? Better than it was, in all honesty. It's definitely improved in the last few updates. And then there's Better Tech that's come in as well. Don't know if you spotted that one was there. But Better Tech is pretty good too. They've got some really nice hover functionality and stuff like that worked in with them. But yeah, it depends on how recently you're trying to compare it to, I think. Okay, let's do a quick check before I seal this thing up. Just need to get up here. Yep, that's fine. And the other one is identical, of course, so the other one will be fine as well. There we go. Well, you can't be turning guns around without firing them, can you? I think there's some kind of sacred law about that or something. If you have an explosive weapon, you will put it to use, and make sure it still works properly. Just because reasons. Yeah, I think that's about it. Just because reasons. There's of course the fact that I've left the underside completely exposed as far as HA is concerned, but again, if something's shooting at things at this angle here, going upwards into the Rexarius, then something is going wrong. Very, very wrong. You were messing around with the direct steam engines, and think From the Depths needs a direct drive fuel engine with a 1, 3 and 5 meter props. A direct fuel engine? That's a fair point, actually. I mean, we've got direct fuel jet engines, after all. So if we've got them, then why not a direct fuel to mechanical power? Sorry, a direct fuel to motive force engine. Yeah, that's what I meant to say. Could be interesting, that, actually. Though if something like that would be added to the game, I have no idea. No, I don't want the wedges. I keep doing that. I want inverted. Just like that, to round things out a little bit. There is, of course, the fact that this bridge area is not directly accessible, but do I want to go Jaxia's route? I think is probably the question. Seeing as Jaxia is dedicated to having all sections of the ship accessible. Might be interesting to do, and it would cut down on cost a bit. Well, actually no, it'd be kind of cost neutral, actually, wouldn't it? On the one hand, you've got to leave open areas for direct access to places. On the other hand, you've got to add extra things like stairwells in. So there's no real way to win it, in all honesty. That's quite the conundrum. And also, by the way, if you guys don't know, that Jaxia is not an FTD content creator, or at least I've never seen any content produced by them. They are an FTD builder, though, and actually they're among my longest time subscribers as well. They've been subscribed to me for literally years. There's a little bit of extra definition there. So, been watching my stuff for a very long time. Which is why, part of why I was kind of curious and willing to just like tinker with the craft that I was sent. And that's why there was a video yesterday about me working on an addition to a craft, just adding a rear section to it. And let's be honest, tinkering is actually something I do like to do in FTD. When I'm out of the game for a while, what can actually get me back into it is often just tinkering with something. I'm not trying to build the entire thing up from scratch or anything like that, just like, here's the thing, go do a little bit of something or other to that thing and have a bit of fun with it, you know? In some ways, that's one of the things that I like most about the game, just like mucking around with stuff more than anything else. I need to do something about that heavy armor at the back, plating at the back there. Let's go ahead and do beam. I'll also go ahead and do some beam work there and there as well. And then I'm going to use oblique plate, I think it's called. Yeah, oblique plating. And I'll just fill the rest of it in with that. Just something a little bit different again. Just added in there. But that does look like it's suitably important enough to be a bridge, even though it's a complete fraud. So I'm happy with that bit. Just go on here. We need to rig this thing to start coming down. It's going to overlap with the armor plating a bit. Oblique armor has much higher armor but doesn't stack. Oh, really? I wasn't aware of the higher armor value on it. That is good to know though, so thank you. But it's not actually there for armor plating purposes, it's actually there for just appearance purposes. I actually thought it was weaker. But as I said, I've never really looked at it, so I'll be guided by other people in that one. All I know is it's like a half block kind of thing. Let's keep on going. This is the base plate. That means oh yeah, the entire top plate is a bit out of whack compared to the rest of it. So if I want to unify this up again properly, I need to adjust it at least a little bit. Or not actually, that kind of fits. Yeah, let's have a little flatter bit at the back here, and then it goes down a bit more steeply. Or I could be sensible and not even have that bit there, it goes steeper straight off. There we go. Curve it. I need to be aware that if I delete this it might just fall off, so just need to be careful. Yep, that would have fallen off completely. Just a little armoured lip there. There's no reason to fill in these corners. In fact, a good use of some of these corners... Actually, that's why I left a gap there anyway. But it could have been used like for a cheeky little bit of extra resource storage or stuff like that. Because this is going to be a resource-intensive craft. The resources to stock up a Rexarius are going to be fairly serious, shall we say. It's not going to be a cheap craft to have around. But then again, it's something that's only meant to be brought in if there's something you want to die, so, you know. It's not going to be the absolute best around, is it? Let's see. That's looking alright. Firing arc for this deck gun will be somewhat restricted by the placement of this part here. If we can narrow this bit down a bit, we can increase the firing arc of that turret. I think it's 65. Ready? Let's see. 15. Do you mean 6.5? Oh, jeez. Wow. Okay. Armor 65. Health only half of well, below half of metal. It's less than half of a light alloy, actually. But 65 armor. Well, it does say in the description, cheap disposable armor add-on. So it's ablative plating more than anything else, isn't it? If something hits it, it's meant to try and absorb that hit and then just fall off. Interesting. Very, very interesting. I think I'm going to have to try using that thing a bit more. It's not a long-term armor solution, but it's definitely something that could be added. Also, I didn't have mirror mode on. Whoops. Okay, I had mirror on for all that. It's just when I went to have a look at things. There we go. I think they may boost the cost of it. That's a good point. Let's have a look at the blocks. 2.25 versus 5. No, it's really cheap as well. It's less than half the cost of a metal or lightweight alloy block. So yeah, this really does strike me as like one hit and it's done kind of deal. Or if something with higher piercing hits it, it's going to seriously blunt that attack. But it's low health means it's going to be dead anyway. You think they may... Oh wait, you may boost the cost. Oh wait, sorry, I misread what you said. Yeah, they might, actually. They might boost the cost of it. It looks quite interesting. But we just had a major patch though, didn't we? So maybe they won't this soon. Question mark. As I slowly curve things around a little bit, just to round out this room. And also have a little bit of fun with this armor plating back here as well, just because why not? Seriously, who needs the armor to be flat anyway? Might as well just weave things into it a little bit, just to give it a bit of extra definition. Haha. Anyway, back to what I was doing. That's the thickness 4. To maintain armor thickness on this area. This is going to be a highly vulnerable spot, so it's not really going to be worth having anything in here, let's be honest. But we do have a little bit of a room up here which can be potentially used for something else later. Though if it will or not remains to be seen. Because the real reason I'm rounding it out though is because I want to put another main turret behind it. So that's what I'm thinking of, just adding in another main gun. However, to do that, I need to start relocating some stuff below decks, which is part of what I meant by extra systems starting to go in. Also, if you guys have an opinion you'd like to share on this, how do you feel of like these deck guns, which are actually fitted out with frag shells? They're a little bit of extra firepower, they're really cheap, but they're just something that could be put onto a flat surface and basically there it goes. So it's like, that's what these things are here for, is like maybe an extra bit of firepower. I mean, what's wrong with more firepower on a ship like this, eh? But yeah, do you think I should include those, or should I just like scrap them off? Are they not worth considering? So yeah, I'll give you guys a few minutes to weigh in on that one and decide what you think I should try and do with it, while I install a steam engine right down here. And you know what, I'm going to make it a 5 length instead of a 3. Just because, you know, increase the power a little bit. Though I will be doing ACB steam control when this thing finally gets finished, so there will be some efficiency, as well as some extra battery space too. Oh, I need to delete that one. And that one. Okay. That's the controller. So now I need the boiler end. That side there. That is the controller. Inside casemates. Bolt them wherever they fit orc style. Okay, so you guys are both saying more DACA is fine, basically. Okay, that said though, Existence, could you explain what you mean by casemates? If you'd be so kind. I'm not quite sure what a casemate is, if I'm quite honest. Let's see, compact turbines. Followed by compact generators. There we go, forward power supply is set. This guy can go away now, because we don't need it. But we need the space he's in. So yeah. Now, next thing we need to move around is... Well, we'll get rid of this turret here actually. We've already moved it. So we don't need this particular example of it anymore. We'll just get into the Tetris. There we go. Goodbye, turret. I feel like there should be some kind of burial at sea song or something there, but it's like, goodbye, proud, massive cannon, or something. To the side of the ship looks like... Oh! I get you. I get what you mean. That'll affect the aerodynamics slightly, but not massively, especially on a ship this size. So that's what a casemate is. No reason we can't bolt them to the side of the ship. Okay, last question. Should I bother with this ultra compact 3x3x3 version? Or would the 5x5x3 be better? Because the 5x5x3 is definitely a more efficient design. As well as slightly tougher as well. I should probably actually show you what I'm on about a little bit. Let's see, let's get down here. Okay, so this is the 3x3x3. By the way, they do fire the same shells, so there is that. This guy is a bit on the sluggish side, of course. He's a compact... Oh. Have we just lost the stream? Hang on, have we just lost the stream? Or was that just my internet going burble? Could be. My laptop's a funny thing sometimes. But yeah, anyway. continuing where we left off because I know that the stream is actually currently live. Yeah, so this is a single barrel version, 3x3x3, 120mm frag shell, and refire rate is every 2.5 seconds. So it did go down for a second. Okay, so that means it was just my general internet then. My apologies for that. So yeah, that, as I said, 2.5 for 120 shell. But if we go across to the 5x5x3, this cannon cycles every 2.3. So it's actually slightly faster firing, it looks like. Not sure how that happened. I thought it was slow, but it's actually slightly faster firing. And it fires 3 shells every time instead of 1 as well. No, not that one. This one. Ugh. Oh wait, I think I know why. It's because there's less splitters in this thing because it's built to be a bit more compact. Either that or the calculations were off. Yeah, 2.3. So yeah, do you think I should try to use the small one as well, or should I just stick with this this 3-barrel one because it's a bit stronger? Though it's of course a bit bigger as well, but hey. And yes, there is a slight pause between bursts of fire on this thing because it's it can't quite get enough ammo capacity into it, but it does still maintain an overall solid rate of fire in the general direction of whatever it's pointing at. Yeah, I just thought I'd ask about that before I start messing around with it too much. Let's see. We've got this is a 210, so that is one of the yeah, that's one of these shield breaker turrets. This one is a double Sabo. I kind of want to get a turret into this spot here, which I'm thinking might have to be one of the smaller ones. There is this smaller 210 here, which is 2186. It sounds like we need to do a bit of test flying on. Let me down. Let me down. Why am I stuck? How did I get stuck there? What? Okay, right, I'm over here now. Note to self, don't jump on that turret, it gets you a bit stuck for some strange reason. There we go. Okay. A mix of 3x3s and 5x5s. Okay, so use them both. As I said, they do both use the same shell. So the only difference is just the size and how much armouring the turrets have got, which is not a lot, honestly, on all of them. See, cooldown 0.44 versus this one, which is 2.86. You know, I'm seriously thinking of like actually getting rid of this more compact one. This more compact ball style turret. The problem is that then, what the heck happened to this? Why are those pointing downwards? Must be the game update. But the thing is though that those are much more expensive in terms of housing than these guys are. These guys can be fitted in about half the fitting space, and with a smaller turret to boot, as in the turret top bit. So I don't know. Let's mock up a silo for it, really quick. Just so we know what we're dealing with. Ooh, that's promising. Perfect. Okay. No, just for its more compact size, I think I want to keep this guy around a little bit. Yeah, I think I'm going to keep this guy around. And yes, I will use both of the frag turrets around as well. I'm honestly thinking like putting a frag turret like on the nose of this bit here. Might be good. Maybe the 5x5. Let's check it actually. A 5 would require as far back as there. So if we take a 2 off that, wait, I'm on HA, I want metal beam, like that. Would it still fit like that? Maybe. Yeah, we won't know until we try it, so let's give it a try. Just take off this rounded forward section here, and then we can sit a one of those super cheap turrets in it. Mirror mode would also be a good idea, so why not? Might be enough clearance for it to turn, though these side bits will get in the way of some turret firing as well, which is a shame. Just get rid of them. Wedge it, corner it, flatten it out. The deck guns come with their own integrated weapon controls, by the way, so they don't need a separate local weapon controller in them. They can just be put down wherever I can find enough flat space to do so. Whenever, wherever. Hiya Jason, and see you later Jason, thank you for dropping in. Sorry to distract you while at work. There we go, so we need the block clearance just for it to go there. And you can see it at the back, some of the internal mechanism. That's because there's a mimic block on the back of this. That's why there's a big engine grill on the back of it too. Yeah, that looks alright there, doesn't it? Just in there quite calmly in front of the missile batteries and the primary cannons. Yeah, I think that sits quite well there. Got good turning rate. I think I want to restrict it like about here. So there is going to be some fire restriction, but it's definitely got plenty of room to work before it starts trying to clip into the another part of the ship or something. And of course, cardinal rule of weapon testing: can't put down a new turret on a stream without shooting it at something. Just as well we've got this handy dandy marauder over here, isn't it? Well, this is definitely much more of an anti-lighter crafts kind of weapon compared to most of the other guns on the ship. Let's be honest. It's also not really got the range of the other ones as well. Got something to look forward to when you get home? Well, I'm glad I can do that for you at least. But yeah, it's scattering a bit even at this modest range here. So it's not the most accurate one around, but for close-in support, it's something extra. And I think that's all it really needs. And of course, where to put the ball turrets though? Actually put some up here, I suppose, couldn't I? Could do. Could put a dent into the top of the superstructure here and just include a couple of small ball turrets up here. Or could put some cupolas on the side as well. That might work. Actually, we've got the space for it. Yeah, we can put some cupolas carrying some of those guns on this area. Why not? Let's see what it looks like. Let's see. We put it like this. How thick do I want the cupolas? I don't want them to be blown off immediately, so... let's go with... how far back would this do? That's the middle of the turret. That's the size of the turret, so we need to be 6. Ideally. How am I going to do this? Let's go ahead and try by the 2s, at the very least. Let's do 1 there, 1 there. Then we'll drop it down to 1, like that. That shouldn't be too bad. Something like that. That is now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is on the 6, so this should be good. Let's go for another 2. Here. Help if I had the right piece, wouldn't it? That. Then 1 block there. And then we just round it back out the other way. So if we're going to go with 1 thickness, this is about right. Apologies for like talking to myself a little bit while I work this out and do like numbers, 1 here, 1 here, 1 here, 1 here, 1 here, 1 there, kind of thing. I just get like that sometimes, honestly, when I'm trying to figure out where to put something. Yeah, something like that. Doesn't quite look as streamlined enough. Like, I'd prefer it if it was like really swept back and then it was rounded at the end, kind of like a wing of some kind, but it's good enough for testing purposes. Then we put a flat part in here, and we of course load some more of these guys, and that will sit like that on it. that looks very dangerous, actually. Wow. Okay. You know, I think I'm suddenly warming more to this cupola idea. Admittedly, I want it a bit thicker, a bit more durable. It's going to get damaged pretty quickly once defenses go down, but... I'm okay with that. That's actually quite nice. Okay. And just because I want to move it, I'm going to copy this one here. Just for the moment. You can have that last empty slot in there. I've got to clean my slots out again. But I'm not quite sure where to put one of these things. Could probably like put a couple at the front here, like just like casually tucked in along the armor. Yeah, like something like there. Let's see what that would look like. By the way, I'm finding this slightly ridiculous now. But, yeah, that'd be about right. And that would fit, there's the armor plate, so it could sit right there. Did I forget mirror mode? I did. Oh well. I don't know. Looks a bit off to me, that one. I think it's because the for the sheer compactness of that particular turret, I had to like there's barely any actual armor plating there. You know? So it's kind of like there's actually barely any turret, like at all, on that thing. There we go. And that's why there's such a big radiator vent on the back of it and stuff like that. Just like, you know, trying to hide the fact there's just like no turret at all. But there we go, we've got some really small turrets on the front. We've got some... I want these to be mounted on a thicker base, but we've got these side-mounted ones on here now as well. I'm enjoying this way too much. Just get rid of that one. And we can scrap this one down off here as well, because we've already relocated it. Okay, let's see what it looks like when I actually turn the AI on. Because of course this craft does have like a very basic testing AI installed on it, like back here. And these guys have local web controllers, so these deck guns are all actually live. And the Marauder is probably not going to be for very much longer. Yeah, a little scattering of the extremely basic shells from there. And from that one, these guys are already out of sync, but they are don't fire as quickly. But they do have better sustain, honestly, compared to the 3-barrel version. And yeah, that Marauder's getting a bit shredded. Yeah, I think it's working as like anti-light crafts. So I think that's doing alright. Definitely not happy with how thin the mounting sections are there though. I also don't think I gave this craft an aim card, did I? No, I didn't. They're just going for centre of mass, actually. Hang on a sec. For this to be a proper test, we need to have the AI at least somewhat functional. I didn't mean to do that. I meant to do this, which is like target prioritization and select. So they can try and pick their targets a bit better. Oh, yep, suddenly they're doing a bit more to it. And I know that this kind of weapon system, this weapon test is not something you've really come to see a build on a really big capital ship to see, is it? But it's something that needs doing. Yeah, I'm happy with those. Let's give it something a bit better. Let's give it a... Still getting used to that. Enemy spawn. Give me a Atlas, please. So I can see how it chews on that. Nope. Oh dear. Not the right whipping boy for those big turrets. This is very true. These guys are far too light for the main weapons to be tested on. They are perfect for these frag guns though, because these frag guns are a lot smaller. No, I do take your point. Let's well, they're basically hull shredder, these things, aren't they? That's what they try to do. They're just trying to break through hull more than anything else. Sorry, I just like watching things getting blown up a bit, you know? I'm also very happy with how the stream doesn't seem to be lagging at all. Except for that time it went down for a few seconds earlier. Okay, that's okay. Let's destroy enemy vehicle. Thank you. Let's get something a bit tougher in here then. No, not that. I want enemy spawn. Give me Onyx Watch. Let's get Kingstead in here as the last target to see how well these frag cannons fare against that. No, don't you dare. No, dear. Because of course it would. Oh well, no real harm done though. It was just the ammo racks that went up. Oh, the RTG bank went up as well, but again, that's also a temporary installation, so that's okay. There we go, fully fixed. Okay, so what are you doing anything to this guy? You're slowly weakening his plating. But something like this, though, we do want the main cannons involved. So it's not really the best target for those guys. Now, something like the Kingstead is something we want one of these guys involved with. So let's go ahead and get this guy involved in it. Just because I don't want to feel left out. Wireless, wireless, wireless. Click. There it goes. Over 500mm. Which is going underwater for some reason, but hey. Oh, I see why it was going down there. Well, yeah, a Kingstead is not really a match for that 500 though. Yeah, the 500mm just went straight through it. And that's why I want them in my weapon selection for this ship. Because they are useful. Also very fast firing as well. It is meant to be one of the main guns, after all. Okay. Right, yep. That's enough of that. Turn off, guys, thank you. You've done your weapon testing, you're fine. You're working just great. Okay, let's get back onto it. Right, for the mounting of these guys, I want to include a bit more plating just to make sure it's actually feature complete for the deck plates. The great armoured box needs to be in place. Okay, that's fine. Capture, new prefab. 8 by 7? Almost. Yeah, 7 by 8 by 7 for that. That's the new armoured box. And to get those lighter disruptor turrets in, I think I'm going to just install them around here. How big's the neck on that thing actually? It is 2 meter thickness neck plating. So if I drop by 1, that should be good. Right there actually. Yeah, that looks alright. I'm kind of looking at how close it is to the outer wall. There's not going to be very much armour at all in this location, thanks to that. But it kind of needs to be installed there, I think. Hi Jaxia, welcome to the stream. Welcome, welcome. I'm just trying to figure out where to put weapons of mass destruction, so don't mind me. Yeah. Let's move it. I'm thinking back a couple of bits, but that might be... what about if I put it there? Then there's plenty of clearance around it. But then if I want to put socket another bigger turret back here... You know what, hell with it. I'm overthinking this. Right. I want 2 meter blocks, please. I want the mirror mode to be back in the center of the ship, please. Like that. Thank you. There's going to be 2 meter separation between this and the next armor block. So that. And then I just need this guy. I'm going to line it up with the front of it, so I'm going to say it like that. Okay. There is also of course the fact that I didn't actually include like underside HA on these things. So let's do that really quick. Or at least enough to be a base plate. You know what, let's actually go ahead and just install enough for it to be a flat underneath. Like that. Yeah, that'll do. Okay. And then this is the turret I want to grab for it. The lighter disruptor turret. So over like that. Yes. I'm going to be installing like this. It's getting pretty close to the neck of that one in front of it, admittedly. Wait, is it not fitting? Load sub-object properly. There we go. Right, got ourselves another couple of turrets. I want to get this one, and I'm going to put this one, as I mentioned, like a bit further back, just so it meshes with the next turret system, the main turret system again. And that's going to be, is that equal to that? That is equal to, let's drop it down slightly. So that can go like there. Thank you for the cruiser. You're most welcome. As I said at the time, I enjoyed working on that, so yeah, that was a good time working on it. And I'm glad you enjoyed what I did to it. Well, you saw exactly how I went around working on it, actually, seeing as I recorded it. That's what I was looking for. Yeah, recorded. How is recorded such a difficult word to remember? But yeah, since I recorded it, so you saw how I went about it as well. So hopefully that's also something that might be of use to you a little bit too. I understand if it's not, but hey. Sometimes it's just how you go about it, isn't it? Let's see, I want this piece to be... Yep, that's lined up properly, so that goes there. Okay. And then I think a gap is called for, at the very least. But this means that we've got a lot of the gun types now on the front. Let's see, we've got the 210 disruptors, both versions. We've got the 250 Sabo. This second housing I've just installed is going to be for the 500 Sabo. So this one. So I can select it. Turret, save it. Yep, save it. Yep, so the 500 Sabo is going to be in this one. And if I set it up properly, it should sit at a nice position there. Yep, there we go. Angled flat, it's above the disruptor turret. And it's below the level of the primary cannons, so that's good. I'm going to have to adjust those, I've forgotten what it's called again already. Those, honestly, I always thought those things were called sponsons. Don't know why. But those side-mounted frag cannons, but they need to be adjusted anyway. That just leaves the only one I've not actually installed anywhere is the 500 Disruptor, which is this one on the corner. That's the only one I've not actually worked in anywhere yet. Let's see, let's get rid of... I've got you, so I don't need you. I've got you, so I don't need you anymore. Just clearing out my working area at the back of the ship a little bit now. I don't need the entire bunker, the entire armoured bunker there, so I'm gonna get rid of that too. Just like tear out the floorboards around it. Bye bye. Oh, and the big turret just slowly falls off the side. Sure, why not? Probably safe to rebuild that area, to be honest. So let's do that really quickly. Okay, you're the one I still want to hang on to, at least for the moment. You are both Sabo variants, and you are both installed in other places now. So I can get rid of these initial prototype cannons. And that includes you as well, so as I find you. Where are you? There you are. There we go. So we are shedding excess mass now, which has frankly reached the point where it's just getting in the way a little bit. I'm about to cut loose the AI, actually. Not quite done with that yet. Let's hang on to the AI, at least for the moment. And send that piece of armour down to the depths of the sea, because why not? Okay. We want to get rid of this armour plating then. Because we don't need this one anymore either. And then we can check this and we have a better idea of the final price tag for the ship. Which is, well, that is part of why I'm deleting these now, just to remove the excess development parts from the ship that we don't need anymore. And also so we can get an idea of, this is roughly half a ship at the moment. So that's about half of the Rexarius in place, give or take. So we can get an idea of, if we keep going on like this, roughly how much it's going to cost. Let's have a look. Right now we are at 608,000. So it looks like this craft is going to top out, feature complete, probably somewhere in the region of 1.3 to 1.4 mil. Unless we add something, some more serious expensive stuff into it. Like, we do want more ammo, but we don't need more batteries. So any value that might have come from doubling the batteries would actually go onto ammo instead. Also, we'd be getting rid of these RTGs that are stuck under here as well. We would be installing an additional steam power, and we'll get resource storage as well, which is going to bump the cost up a bit. But yeah, it looks like we're going to wind up with a craft at somewhere in the ballpark of 1.4 million. And that's actually fine, I think. 1.4 million is actually going to be pretty decent. Anyway, let's see. We want to continue with the stripping out and reworking. So, mirror. I'm going to install additional resource storage in this sector here. And this is a really good place for it to be, because it's sandwiched in the middle of all these turret silos. So it's actually got ship armor, turret armor, the turret mechanisms themselves, and then you get into this area. So this is a good spot for a primary resource silo, I think. So I'm just going to take these freight containers and mount them sideways because, of course, why not? Actually, can I fit them normally? I can. Ooh. Tempting. Very tempting to fit them sideways like that, but you know, let's just do it vertical, at least at the moment. And yeah, 4 of those is a lot of storage. But this craft is going to depend a lot on its resources. So that's going to be definitely a future issue for this craft. What can we store now? We can store up to 218,000 resources already. Ouch. Okay. This craft can store a third of its own cost in resources already. And I'm planning to add more to that, so I think 1.4 is probably being very optimistic. Anyway, let's continue. Let's get battery silos into place now, I suspect. So we're going to need to clear out the ammo reserves. We don't need them here. We will need extensive ammo supply systems to... Well, actually not the most extensive ones. Yeah. not ridiculous amounts, because most of these guns are actually somewhat efficient, and we definitely don't need enough for the missile launchers to be firing constantly. That was never something I intended for this, especially something as expensive as those missiles at the front. The idea is that these missiles will fire as long as there's an ammo reserve, and against a suitable target. But then, because each one of these missiles is so expensive, it's 6,400 per shot. That means that once we get below that threshold, ammo will be being taken by the cannon systems before the missiles. So we'll only see a few salvos out of these missile launchers most likely, and then it'll just like slow to crawl or just stop firing completely because the ammo's going elsewhere. And I am fine with that, because this is just like a big volley of nastiness to say hello to the enemy with. It's like, greetings, you are a worthy foe. Here have many massive high explosive missiles. Okay, you've got those? Good. Now let's get down to business and start murdering each other. Or something to that effect, I don't know. That is a friendly way to greet each other though, isn't it? Save that. Okay. Let's get these guys into a more permanent position. So I want them a bit higher up, I think. Probably about... yeah, just slightly below the top deck section here, I think is probably a good idea. So yeah, I think somewhere around here. 1, 2, 3. That's how tall the thing is. So one lower than that. About there. 1, 2, 3. Actually, can these cannons still turn if they are right next to something? Maybe. Maybe they can. Depends on how much clearance they truly need for a 5x5, but I suspect they might be a bit too close if they are in that kind of position. So that means we're going to have to do a little bit of test fire again. Such a shame that, isn't it? Goodbye, cannons. And goodbye, crenellations. That was the word, crenellations. Okay. So these cannons up top, we need to test the firing arc. Luckily we still have that AI installed, so that's actually okay. If this cannon can turn to attack that Kingstead, we are good. It can. We are good. Okay. And that's all I needed, so sorry, that's all the test firing you're going to get for the moment. Right, let's continue. So we don't need it to be any further out than that. And then from there we can just go ahead and sweep it in. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's sweep it in with this. Yeah, I think that's going to be good. That might be a bit far, actually. I want it to be like super sleek, where it's like not quite enough length involved. I mean, if you look, it's like it's not quite there yet, and it's still got a bit to go. So I think we're going to have to go ahead and accept that it's not going to be all the way forward. Maybe just a down slope across there. That looks alright, actually. A little bit rounded, definitely shaped with care. Definitely built for like it's not built to be like absolutely fragile either, so that's okay, I think. And then because I said I wanted it thicker, we're going to make it double strength as well. So we're going to be merging that around into that. There we go. So it's a bit of an odd shape that, but okay. It should be alright, I think. In fact, we could even turn it into a wedge piece if we want to just shift it up a little bit. Let's do that. Let's give it a wedge on the side. So I'll put that wedge piece like, it's going to have to be a 4-meter wedge piece, like so. Then it'll have to be a 2-meter wedge front to preserve the slope. And then it'll be 2-meter wedges across the place like that. That looks a little bit odd. But hey, that's okay. It's looks alright actually, I think. And then the rest of this is just like solid metal. Something like that. In fact, we can just go ahead and slope this one in. In fact, what if we were to put a wedge piece like this and a wedge back on it, like that? There we go, yeah, that's nice and mounted. You can tell I'm getting into armouring mode, can't you? Because I'm just doing random bits and pieces to it. But there we go, that's a bit of an odd-shaped piece there, but we've got it. And more importantly, it's got 2 flat surfaces, which is what we wanted to get quad turrets onto it. Because, well, who doesn't need more firepower? End of the day. Admittedly, those lower ones might be a bit of an issue with these guys, so I'm going to have to set a bit more of a restricted firing angle, I think, for them. To stop them like shooting this, you must be this close to shoot at things. But the top one's going to have plenty of firing room though. I don't know, I still really love those guys. Okay, moving on. We've got the battery sets, of which we have 6. Now, if I recall, these things are 20 long, and they are built 3x3 otherwise. Let's double check this really quick before we capture it. And it is. Okay, right. So, the plan for these guys is to have them kind of arrayed within the actual superstructure and citadel of the ship itself. Maybe doing them flat would be better, but well, actually flat probably would be more effective. It'll give us more space to work around them. Yeah, let's say flat. And with suitable spacing, we can quite easily set things up to work with them as well. I've also just realised I want them to be slightly lower, because this wooden decking is actually not meant to be sticking around. So let's actually cut some of that out now. We don't need the backup RTGs because of course we've got the steam engine already installed. So the RTGs can also be given up to the gods of the sea. We're going to keep this control panel, at least at the moment, but we can sever the wooden pylons over here. In fact, if it wasn't for that 500mm disruptor cannon, we could actually sever the entire rear section of this wooden platform now, and it wouldn't affect us at all. We don't need it anymore. Yeah, we really don't need it at all. But I think that's a good amount of space there. Let's go ahead and install one of these battery sets into place here. That's going to sit on, well, it's just going to sit on the metal floor. You know, let's give it some insulating wood just in case we get EMP to heck. Always a valid concern. There we go. The metal floor will continue underneath, because we've already got a position for that, of course. Oh yeah, it's going to be needed all the way along here. Yeah, that's good. Just Fill it in. Gonna take your time, but it is gonna fill it all in. So here we go. Okay. How long have I been streaming? Let's see. We are at 9, so we've got 7, so about an hour and a half-ish. Okay. So I was thinking this would be like an hour to a 2-hour stream tops. So a bit on the shorter side, admittedly. And we are getting towards the end of that bracket a little bit. But I'm happy with the progress which is going on so far. So what I'm thinking is get the batteries laid in. Get the batteries laid in fully. Get at least this guy in place. Maybe work on some detection or a bit of an AI core to start out, because this thing doesn't have an official AI core yet. Maybe do a bit of steam engine work. It depends on how far we get along, I think. So yeah, it depends on how far we get along. That's a good way to put it. Goodbye more wood. We've got a single battery in place. Let's get another one in place. So install another battery, which will sit in its wooden insulation. There we go. Then I think maintaining this low-slung battery section is probably going to be a good idea, so let's go ahead and install a layer of metal for separation. Like so. Then another layer of wood. And then this section will continue onwards in the same way as the bits before it. So it's just like that. We can actually get rid of these batteries on the back now. We don't need them. Bye bye. Look at those loose batteries just falling down. Oh dear. Right. Okay. The reason I was doing that is because I want to try and get this last thing in place, and for that I want it to be somewhere along this middle bit of the ship here. So what I'm actually thinking is, if I take this and I'll put a bit of a gap, and then I can put in a new silo spot here. Yeah, just something like this, except it's going to be a bit lower down, so like that. And yeah, it fits in quite nicely with the existing battery section, but maybe a little bit further out. Oh, that kind of gets in the way a little bit. You know, let's put it like, if we put it like that, that's 2 meters from the outer edge. I think I'm going to have to thicken the outer layer a little bit further. Just because there's not enough armor space for it. I saw a couple though, and we'll see. So of course the problem is that these guys are not going to have very good firing arcs. It's going to be like, mostly like a 50 degree... maybe 110, 120 degree arc is what these cannons are going to have in that position. So I'm going to have to think about that for arranging the rear design a bit further. But at least we can say that we've got this section out there. Oh yeah, this thing has a really narrow neck, doesn't it? Actually, it's a narrow neck, very small turret top. Well, the turret top is small, but the silo size is still correct for it. don't know. Okay. You know what? Let's go ahead and do this. If we mirror it, throw stuff in, okay, just get this piece, throw it out again a little bit. Goodbye. And actually put it up against where the outer plating is. So I'm going to accept it's going to bulge out a little bit. Because it's a very narrow turret on a very thick turret housing, so it's very small for a very big weapon system. And there's not much I can do about that one, honestly. Center line is there. So I'm going to have to accept that there's going to be some oddly placed turrets in this design. There's no way around it. I'm thinking now, like this, it's going to be a couple blocks in, but it still have a better firing angle than before. What about if I put it like, how far back is that? That is not too bad. Let's install one back here, shall we say. And then we'll put a 1 meter gap, then another one back there, and then these guys are actually going to be our side-on guns. The 500s are meant to be nasty to shields that they hit, but as I mentioned during previous parts, it's like I worked out that they might not be the best to have for sustained fire, so I want some of them, I don't want many of them. 2 on each side I think is more than enough for these guys. So let's just get it installed in place. Oh, look at that. It fits perfectly pointing straight at the armor in front of it. Not quite what I wanted, but hey, it fits. And then we've got 2 fitting there pointing backwards as well. Yeah, that looks okay, I think. I'm noticing a bit of lag going on in the stream now. Okay, that can't be helped. I think it's just because there's stuff falling, so maybe having graphics set to max is still a bit much. I'd be surprised if it wasn't. But there's plenty of clearance between these and the guns above. Plenty of room for extra deck work and stuff. So I think that's going to be good. Let's see, we are on out of 30, and I can feel myself flagging quite a bit. So yeah, there's not going to be much longer in the stream now, I don't think. Actually, are these guys... These guys are smaller than I thought, actually. They're not... I forgot about that. Anyway, let's very quickly get rid of what's left of the wooden bracing. Since it's not holding the craft together anymore, he says, crossing his fingers as he deletes random bits and pieces. I should probably save the craft before I do that, actually. Just so I don't accidentally cause some damage, so... Save over the Rexarius. And if I was to load up the Rexarius, it would be... Yes, that is the correct shape, and we are still at... We have only slightly increased the cost of the thing at the moment. Hi Lauren, welcome to the stream. So yeah, just making sure that's saved before I start randomly deleting some more bits that might be structurally vital. But yeah, welcome, welcome. As I accidentally fly past the thing. Right. Let's get going. I think the next bit I want to do really is probably like main propulsion. We kind of need a main propulsion drive on this thing, let's be honest. Okay, that's not connected anymore. If we go up to the front here, this part is no longer structurally vital, so... you guys should be just about ready to give way. In fact, why aren't you giving way? You must be still connected somewhere else. Either that or you're just hanging on. Okay, let's get... Oh, there it goes. Goodbye, temporary platform that I built in the very first episode. Stripping away the deadwood. Okay. We don't need this part anymore either, because these shells are all mounted on top of each other, so that's all good. This part of the decking is going to stay just because it's where the seat is. But yeah, we're cutting loose what little is left of the initial temporary construction. That's connected at the top, so that's okay. Get rid of that piece there as well. And this entire front section is actually vital. Well, not quite vital, but I'll put metal into here. And I'll leave this part here just because it's got another chair for access to that missile launcher, at least for the moment. And I'll just get rid of this. There we go. Now, before I forget, I need to install additional battery packs, so let's do that. Let's get battery power back up to where it was, which was 6 units on this one here. And actually, this entire battery bank just only costs like 7,200 resources to install it. That's not too bad. It's definitely on the cheaper side, but main power, of course, comes from the steam engines, not from these things. See, what if I was to put... oh, that fits perfectly back there, doesn't it? Yeah, we can install some vertically oriented ones if we want to. In fact, I am highly tempted to do so. Do I want to mount it directly onto the... Actually, I don't. Let's get some more wood to act as insulation, in the very least, because, you know, it's heavy armor. Heavy armor, if I recall... Well, if it's still... Last time I ever heard of it, heavy armor, of course, transmits EMP shock, so we don't want to let it do that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's what we need. A couple of batteries installed, so that can go. Wait, what? Oh, whoops. Would help if I put it in the right place, wouldn't it? Just a tiny bit. That's 4 batteries. Okay. We need 6. I don't want this to be sticking up here though, because that is actually getting into a more vulnerable area. I want to keep taking advantage of the integrated plating and such that's lying around. I'm kind of wondering where those metal plates there came from. I'm not entirely sure. Okay. So, I'm going to mount it actually on top of this section here. So I think like, let's put it even to this part here. Actually, they are only a tiny bit longer than the heavy armor of those silos. That is quite convenient, actually. There we go, that is 6. The craft is now back up to power. However, if I come down here into the underbelly of the craft, I am actually going to install another battery. And this is going to be battery number 7. Which I will install, yeah, just under here, I think. This should be correct, right? Mirror? Yes, that is correct. So yeah, I'm using the underside of the craft just to install the 7th battery. And gotta admit, this is going to mess with the railgun settings and the power drain. And basically everything we've done configuring most of our weaponry up to this point is now messed up a little bit because we've got a 7th battery. The railguns are going to be overcharging, they're going to fire faster, they're going to deplete more power. But that 7th battery is actually there for efficiency. I'm just kind of thinking where to put the primary control room right now. I'm thinking like, again, take advantage of this section here between these weapon systems. Just so that we've got the extra armor and stuff going between everything. There we go, so that's a little bit there. Bit of sandwiching. Then I'm going to do a metal plate. And then we're going to have ACB control systems and things installed here. And I just spoiled what I'm getting on about because this is, I just said ACBs, so yeah. We need something to control the actual burn rate of the steam engines if this craft is going to have any kind of hope of being useful over any kind of period of time. So that's what the extra thing is about, what the extra battery is for, because it gives us a margin of error. So let's do this. We need 1 out of 7. Which is 14%. 14.2% if you want to be exact. Let's round it up slightly. So we will say, if the battery, so find it, vehicle stats, isn't it? Yeah, battery. Yeah, if the battery goes below... Yeah, if the battery drops below like 85%, then steam engines, steam boilers will kick to full power. In fact, let's be a bit more generous than that. We want a safety margin after all. So let's set it at sorry, 88%, which is a massive amount of power still, but this craft is now being tuned a little bit for efficiency. So that one's going to kick in at battery 88%. This one is also going to be set to battery. I'm not going to finish setting these up now because we've got more stuff to put into it first. And if the power's cut off, it's going to be a slight issue, don't you think? A little bit. But this one is again going to be a battery stat. This one is going to kick in at 92% and below. And it's also going to be, this one is going to be a slightly lower priority, -1. But the idea for this one, let's set them all up now while I remember, but we're going to turn them off. Yeah, so 88% boilers full power. 92% boilers set to half power, and also turn this one off. If the battery is inverted, no, I know. If the battery is above 96%, shall we say, we've got, remember this is only a few percent, but we've got a lot of battery power involved here. 96% and above, the boilers will shut off. So the boilers kick down to 0. And this is going to be a -1 as well, because those two will not be conflicting each other. So 92%, 50% burn on the boilers. If it manages to rise above 96%, the boilers will shut off again. And that will control most of the boilers on the ship. So any kind of boilers which are directly intended for the batteries, like this one underneath here, which is for the forward guns, and also some of the side guns now because I've enlarged it slightly. That one will be affected by those ACBs, and depending on the level of battery power, will turn on, shut off, that kind of stuff. So that's kind of how it's going to be keeping running. And if it's not in battle conditions, and if it's not, and it's still running on its backup power supply, whatever that may be, then it won't care at all, and it won't be burning resources it doesn't need to for the boilers. But that's the general idea there. Now then, we need to get steam working as well. I just need to check something on this though, because the plan is huge props. This is going to be a steam ship, quite honestly. And I want to know how many reduction gears to install in the thing. So that's going to be the challenge, isn't it? Because reduction gears are a bit of an issue to install properly. Let's go ahead and install... for this test rig, let's get a whole bunch of wood out here. Two, three, four... Let's see what 5 looks like. I wish it would give you the stats before you connect it to it, connect it up properly, but yeah, for some reason it doesn't let you, which is a bit of a thing. Let's see, if I want to do that I have to get it attached to the crank now, which is going to sit here. I need the piston installed as well. Actually all I need is the gearbox, isn't it? Yeah, that's all I need really. That's connected. That's not connected, which means it's backwards. You're not connected, which means you're backwards. Everything is backwards. Alright. Fine. Which means all of these guys are backwards as well. Because of course they are. Wait, are you not backwards? Oh, wait. Engine shaft, of course. Okay, right. So, this is what we've got. We have got, with 5 reduction gears installed, reduces efficiency to 77%. Requires 18 seconds to hit at full rotation. Needs 80 RPM on the engine shaft itself. Okay. Maximum safe rotation speed is 240. This thing can accelerate hard enough to get full drive out of these propellers. That should be fine. The question is, how much power is it going to require? It should say that somewhere. If I mouse over the thing... It's cavitating, of course. It's, yeah. It should say this somewhere. Oh wait, is it in the stats? Maximum force of 96,000. Okay. Main thruster reverse. Need 25 meters behind it. Max top speed. Top speed is 160. I don't think the craft is going to quite reach that high, but it's going to be pretty darn powerful. Not sure how much pressure we require for this thing, so I think some empirical testing might be in order. Okay, a little bit of testing, so we can try and work out how much of a steam system we want to drive the main engines. We're going to have to overbear this thing, unfortunately, because it's good. Since it's a mechanical engine, it's also going to be providing direct mechanical power to the ship as well. There's no way to separate them. I wish there was, but there just isn't, so... yeah. Okay, just connect that there. Let's put a boiler control onto the end of it, which we'll set to full power. You are powering up, aren't you? Oh wait, you don't have an end. That's why. Okay. So we do need an end on it. Why are you no working? You're set. Can burn. Oh, it's because there's no resources on it. And that's because I'm not near a resource box to actually provide resources because my resource supply limit is limited. Okay. Right, so we actually burned away all of our resources that were in stock while I was working on stuff. Sure. There we go. Right. Let's let this thing stabilize and we'll find out what the heck we're doing. And then, admittedly, I'm actually going to end the stream. So we're not going to get much further than this, I'm afraid. Not beyond like working out how much power we want to have actually in this thing. And shaft rotation is at 23, 24. It is slowing down a lot. Engine power is at 9,300. Shaft mass, that. Attach prop is currently running at 200 odd. Okay, so that tells me we want to have a more substantial boiler system than this to run this thing. At full output, we're probably going to top out somewhere around 270 or so. But we've got to remember, of course, that this thing is going to be running like several other things as well. So, what if we've got 3? What if this was a 5? Of course, we've got the fact that it's like single crank as well running on this thing. Da, 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 da. Which is slowing it down a little bit, but right now this boiler is not quite equal to the main boilers at the front here. And in fact, we could use this as a partial battery charger as well. So that means that the other boilers will be kicking in and out a lot more often if we rig this engine here with a drive wheel to let it charge the batteries as well. Depends how much power we want to put elsewhere, like into the shields and things too. Now the batteries do actually have motors in them which let them also contribute to mechanical power for the ship itself. Engine shaft is running at 47. Total is 80. Engine shaft rotated at least 80. Isn't it like halved every time you put in a reduction gear? Hang on. Okay, that is now running a bit harder. And actually that's not connected because that's a prop shaft. There we go. At least 100 now. Okay. And now it requires 133. Okay, yeah. Though that said, the increased efficiency does seem to be doing things to the propeller. Right, reverse the question. Because this engine is definitely struggling to get up to power. I wish there was a more effective way to do this, but yeah, let's reverse the question. Yep, overloaded it a little bit, but I'm going to delete it now, so off it goes. What happens if we have 6? And there's the game bugging out a little bit. Because it broke as I deleted it. Still single piece here, apparently. Nope, that's gone. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. One, two, three, four. Let's say let's have one more in, I suppose. And then we'll include that. That's connected, and it now says it requires 66. Okay, yeah, so like 100 or 80 is about as low as it's going to get, reasonably, because it's diminishing returns. So I think 5 to have it require 80 is probably pretty good. Especially since now it max rotation is 17.5. 18. Actually, if we're going to be beefing up the engine, we might as well just go with 4, in all honesty. Yeah. Production gears needs 100 RPM on the actual engine, but yeah. It's 80% efficient. That should be good, actually. That should be pretty good. And then if I'm working out, this is just like working out for the sake of working out at the moment. Because I'm going to end the stream like right after this. But an example engine of what I'm thinking is like, if we do it like that, then we have a wheel, which can go there. Then we have the gearbox at the back here. Then we would have the wheel generators, like attached on the sides like this, so it'd be a double gen, like that. And then this would roughly be the line for a single one of these. And I'm thinking 2, maybe 3 actual propellers for this craft, plus some ordinary ones as well. Just so that it's got something that can run without the steam system being engaged. Let's go ahead and just like link it up here a little bit. Boop, boop. So that is like going to be perfectly safe and connected, and then we'll have the boiler like around here somewhere. Not literally here, of course. This entire thing is backwards, but you get what I'm trying to go for, though, don't you? I think you do. And we're looking at like a 6 or 7 maybe. So this is going to be a major steam system in and of itself, just to run the propeller system, which is why I kind of want to tap into it for battery supply as well. And then, of course, an additional one would just come out the side on this one as well, and then that goes down, and it's an identical engine set over there. And that's kind of what I'm thinking of for primary power. Something like this. And it should work quite well for supplying direct power to the ship. And it's going to sit somewhere like back here, roughly. So it's got a bit of distance to go. But this is going to be like the main steam drive for the ship. You know, if we're going to be steam on the rest of it, we might as well have steam for propulsion too. But yeah, that is also where I'm going to call it. So, thank you guys for anyone that's stuck around this far. We are just shy of the 2-hour mark, but that is still a good size for the stream. And I think we've definitely made some progress on it. We've got deck guns mounted onto side mounts, crenellations or sponsons or whatever they're called. I'm not entirely sure. We've got forward gun array in position, more or less, I think, along with some 500s on the side. And then next time we can start to work on the rear deck sections, and of course mounting that propeller system actually facing the right direction. which would probably be quite useful. We're not quite seaworthy yet, but we are definitely making progress. But yeah, as I said, it's time to call it there. So, this has been AM3. Thank you all very much for watching. I hope you guys are enjoying the show. And I'll catch you all some other time. Yes. Maybe if we're lucky, next year we might even see this craft be able to float. Who knows, stranger things have happened. But yeah, thanks for watching, and catch you all later.